Okay. What on earth is going on here? Oh, wait. I know what's going on. That was from last night. Huh. So I will start from last night and go forward. Okay, here we go. Hello and welcome to the Cultured Bumpkin. Today we're going to do some live reading requests. So we've got YouTube, and as of right now, nobody ever shows up. Last night somebody did. Sean in Alaska showed up last night. But right now, I usually get, I'll turn on TikTok, and TikTok, when I do a TikTok live, sort of jointly, people will show up and we will discuss poetry and such. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm setting up my phone. All right. Got my phone, got my webcam, got my coffee. Okay. And I'm glad I don't have a picture of this because it's like a pile of junk just all piled up. So I'm glad we're just shooting this way. So until somebody shows up and asks for something, we'll just get to reading. Because whether or not anyone shows up, we're going to read some poetry. Mary Oliver, anyone? I like a little Mary Oliver. Here's one called Long Afternoon at the Edge of Little Sister Pond. As for life, I'm humbled. I'm without words sufficient to say. How it has been hard as flint and soft as a spring pond, both of these over and over, and long pale afternoons besides, and so many mysteries, beautiful as eggs in a nest, still unhatched, though warm and watched over by something I've never seen, a tree angel perhaps, or a ghost of holiness. Every day I walk out into the world to be dazzled, then to be reflective. It suffices, it is all comfort along with human love, dog love, water love, little serpent love, sunburst love, or love for that smallest of birds flying among the scarlet flowers. There is hardly time to think about stopping and lying down at last to the long afterlife, and lying down at last to the long afterlife, to the tenderness yet to come, when time will be brim over the singular pond and become forever, and we will pretend to melt away into the leaves. As for death, I can't wait to be the hummingbird. Can you? That's A Long Afternoon at the Edge of Little Sister Pond by Mary Oliver. So, welcome. If you've never been on here before, I just like to read poetry at night. And yeah, if you have a poetry request, definitely say something, and I will definitely consider reading it, depending on the length and stuff like that. But yeah, this one's called "Love's Philosophy" by Percy Shelley. I think I have a filter on that is making me look like I have makeup on. Oh, I seem unusually smooth tonight. I don't know. Maybe it's, I don't know. Or like an alien. Okay, Love's Philosophy, Percy Shelley. The fountains mingle with the river, and the rivers with the ocean. The winds of heaven mix forever with a sweet emotion. Nothing in the world is single, all things by a law divine in one another's being mingle. Why not I with thine? See the mountains kiss high heaven, and the waves clasp one another. No sister flower would be forgiven if it disdained its brother. And the sunlight clasps the earth, and the moonbeams kiss the sea. What are all these kissings worth, if thou kiss not me? Percy Shelley, Love's Philosophy. That's a smooth-talking fella right there. Must be how he got old Mary. think that was his wife, wasn't it? Mary Shelley, that wrote Frankenstein. Here is Christopher Marlowe. Yeah, put your pajamas on, get some tea, get some coffee, whatever you drink at night, bourbon, whatever. Settle down, listen, make a request, and if you have to leave or whatever, like, got to leave early, or wish you could still stay but got stuff to do, I am recording this live, and then it'll be on my YouTube channel, so you can come back and watch it another time when you need to fall asleep. Okay, so a little double dip in there. The Passionate Shepherd to His Love by Christopher Marlowe. Come live with me and be my love, and we will all the pleasures prove that hills and valleys, dales and fields, and all the craggy mountains yields. And we will sit upon the rocks, seeing the shepherds feed their flocks by shallow rivers, to whose falls melodious birds sing madrigals. And I will make thee beds of roses and 1,000 fragrant posies, a cap of flowers and a kirtle, embroidered all with leaves of myrtle. A gown made of the finest wool, which from our pretty lambs we pull, fair-lined slippers for the cold, with buckles of the purest gold. A belt of straw and ivy buds, with coral clasps and amber studs. And if these pleasures may thee move, come live with me and be my love. The shepherd's swains shall dance and sing for thy delight each May morning. If these delights thy mind may move, then live with me and be my love. Christopher Marlowe, The Passionate Shepherd to His Love. Swanee, I have a link tree. There's just the one link, but if you go to there, then you'll see my, my podcast, my YouTube, that kind of thing. So yes, it is in my TikTok profile. You bet. If you can't tell, it's humid here, and I am, back home in Mississippi, and I am sweating. There's The Tiger by William Blake. Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? In what distant deeps or skies burnt the fire of thine eyes? On what wings dare he aspire? What the hand dare seize the fire? And what shoulder and what art could twist the sinews of thy heart? And when thy heart began to beat, what dread hand and what dread feet? What the hammer? What the chain? In what furnace was thy brain? What the anvil? What dread grasp dare its deadly terrors clasp? When the stars threw down their spears, and watered heaven with their tears, did he smile his work to see? Did he who made the lamb make thee? Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye dare frame thy fearful symmetry? William Blake, Tiger, tiger. Emily Dickinson, apparently with no surprise. Apparently with no surprise to any happy flower, the frost beheads it at its play. An accidental power, the blonde assassin passes on. The sun proceeds unmoved to measure off another day for an approving God. Emily Dickinson, apparently with no surprise. Here is E. Cummings. Nobody. Not as a whole episode. A lot of those I've already done, and they're already, like, they're already on the podcast. So I took, like, that last night, that whole reading, and put them on my YouTube. So there's a playlist called, like, Poetry Reading Live, and that's where I put those. And, when I first started, I just had my phone, but now I figured out how to hook up my, like, that's a really nice mic right there. And so, like, you're not hearing me, you're just hearing me through my phone right now. But if you look on YouTube, you'll be hearing me through this, right? So the sound quality is actually better, and that whole session is on YouTube. But I will chop some of them up and put them on the podcast. Very long answer to a very short question, but that, as they say, is that. Um, Good deal. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I'm glad that you enjoy it. And I always like, and the thing about YouTube that I like, which you can't do on a podcast, is sort of leave a comment like, oh, I like this, or, the music's too loud. Could you turn it down? Or I don't know, feedback, and also make requests and things just right there on the thing. You might look at the Annabelle Lee one and say, "Oh, could you do the Raven?" or something, whatever. So yeah, I appreciate that. I think you'll like it. The Swing, Robert Louis Stevenson. I will check that out. One moment. Let's do E. E. Cummings. Oh, sweet spontaneous. Okay. Oh, sweet spontaneous earth, how often have the doting fingers of the prurient philosophers pinched and poked thee, has the knotty thumb of science prodded thy beauty. How often have religions taken thee upon their scraggy knees, squeezing and buffeting thee that thou mightest conceive gods, but true to the incomparable couch of death, thy rhythmic lover, thou answerest them only with spring. E. E. Cummings, oh sweet spontaneous. Man, the air is thick with moisture in here. Let's see. Annie, what does that mean? Is that is that this? I need my glasses. I thought it was like this. Like, I didn't know what that meant. But okay. If you liked it, great. If that's what that means. Where is my little... Okay, wait. The swing. Okay. Oh, snap! Like a little a dignified applause. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Annie. So my pad is a short distance away, and it's charging. So give me a few more minutes on the Robert Louis Stevenson, and I'll read a few more minutes out of this little fella. So this has a lot of stuff. Yeah. Okay. All right. Here's some Walt Whitman. Yeah, good deal. Thank you. I'm glad you liked that. Here's Walt Whitman. Goodbye, Goodbye, my fancy. Okay. Goodbye, my fancy. Farewell, dear mate, dear love. I'm going away, I know not where, or to what fortune, or whether I may ever see you again. So goodbye, my fancy. Now for my last, let me look back a moment. The slower, fainter tickling of the clock is in me. Exit, nightfall, and soon the heart thud stopping. Long have we lived, joyed, caressed together. Delightful. Now separation. Goodbye, my fancy. Yet let me not be too hasty. Long indeed have we lived, slept, filtered, become really blended into one. Then if we die together. Yes, we'll remain one. If we go anywhere, we'll go together to meet what happens. Maybe we'll be better off and blither and learn something. Maybe it is yourself now Maybe it is yourself now really ushering me to the true songs. Who knows? Maybe it is you, the mortal knob, really undoing, turning. Now finally, goodbye and hail, my fancy. Walt Whitman. The Notebook made us feel all kinds of things. uh, that was great. I remember I saw that in theaters, and or in the theater, and I was like, that's good. Okay, let's see. Katie did. Do I have a favorite Shakespeare piece? Um, that's a really good question. Uh, I really like, there's some sonnets I really like, and most of the sonnets are ones, the more well-known ones. I don't have like, oh, I like some one nobody knows about, um, and that's my favorite. So maybe I haven't read enough of them, but I like several of his sonnets I really like, and then there's Austen, and then I like Henry V. There's several monologues in Henry V that I really like. I don't know, it just because I was in the military, I was an officer, I was over guys, and so some of those thought processes that he's having, like I've in a small way, I've kind of thought that before in much less, glorious terms and much less eloquent. I've had that same thought. And so I have a lot of Henry V, I like a lot of. But yeah. What about you? You have a favorite? Okay, I'm backing up just a little bit. Meeting and Passing by Robert Frost. Let me see if I have charged my little thing up enough yet. Because that would be easier if I had my pad out. Man, it's not even that hot in here. It's just extraordinarily humid. All right, I think I can. I think we're good on this. I was in Wyoming the other day, and it was. I looked down. It was 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 59 degrees, Grand Teton, sunny, and but it wasn't a cold. It wasn't cold. It was like a brisk. Um, it was a brisk 59, and I just loved it. And then I came home to Mississippi, where it's not super hot. It's just humid and kind of miserable. Okay. Uh, but if there's something I can't stand, it's someone that's always griping about the weather. I will not be that to you. Just suffice to say, if you see water trickling down my face or dripping off the end of my nose, that's why. I don't even do cocaine. You know what I mean? It's it's the weather. Meeting and Passing. Meeting and Passing by Robert Frost. All right. Let's see how long this one is. Very nice. Let's do it. Meeting and Passing by Robert Frost. As I went down the hill along the wall, there was a gate I had leaned at for the view and had just turned from when I first saw you as you came up the hill. We met. But all we did that day was mingle great and small footprints in summer dust, as if we drew the figure of our being less than two, but more than one as yet. Your parasol pointed the decimal off with one deep thrust. And all the time we talked, you seemed to see something down there to smile at in the dust. Oh, it was without prejudice to me. Afterward, I went past what you had passed before we met, and you what I had passed. Meeting and passing. Robert Frost. Mm. It is problematic, but it's yeah, in a lot of ways kind of life, you know. The House of the Jackal. Do you know what? I don't know what act and scene that is. You know what? Do you know what it is? And I could read it, but I couldn't perform it. If you know what I'm saying. Uh, okay, well that one's not the right one. Okay, Sonnet 115 by William Shakespeare. Those lines that I before have writ do lie, even those that said I could not love you dearer. Yet then my judgment knew no reason why my most full flame should afterwards burn clearer. But reckoning time, whose millioned accidents creep in twixt vows and change decrees of kings, tan sacred beauty, blunt the sharp's intent, divert strong minds to the course of altering things. Alas, why, fearing of time's tyranny, might I not then say, now I love you best, when I was certainly, or in certainty, crowning the present, doubting of the rest? Love is a babe, then might I not say so, to give full growth to that which still doth grow. Sonnet 115, William Shakespeare. Swan, yeah, a lot of people, they'll go to the play like, no, it was so cliche. Like, no, that's where you get all that stuff. There's so many things in there. All the world's a stage. That's a really good uh, monologue, and it can go a lot of different ways. I've seen it performed really funny, or like really sincere and sort of heavy, and I like both ways. Mm. Rebel in T-Town, what's going on? Yeah, man, I appreciate that. I've been off for a while, traveling a little bit with bad internet out west, so I didn't really do any lives for a couple weeks, but yeah, back at it. J Let's see. Oh, I don't know where I'm totally lost on my thing here. Much Ado in Midsummer. Okay, very nice. Nice. Tragedy-wise, I really like Macbeth for different reasons. Uh, but Macbeth is one of my favorite of the tragedies. But I generally don't like tragedies. Uh, I like happy stuff, happier stuff. It's like Much Ado. I really, that one's great. David Tennant is amazing in Hamlet. Um, David Tennant, Andrew Scott is amazing as Hamlet. He's like an Irish Hamlet. He does it in an Irish accent. Benedict Cumberbatch. Poof, poof. unbelievable. And then I just love looking at different people's, like, take on it. Like in, I think it is it Much Ado About Nothing, David Tennant is playing Benedict, and he's like well, he does Benedict, and then Kenneth, Branagh does Benedict as well, Benedict, and, they're both amazing, and they're both totally different. Um, and I like that. I think you can learn a lot and pick up more stuff when someone's playing it more like David Tennant's was like, he really played up the comedy in everything, whereas, Kenneth Branagh, sometimes it was more of a drama almost, and both were amazing. No, the eye rolling with Cumberbatch is like, oh, it's so amazing. Like, yes, he is. That was not like he's no good. That is the opposite of that. He's amazing. Oh, you saw Cumberbatch's hand? Oh, that's great. Good deal. Well, get some sleep and yeah, don't go easy on him. Okay, yeah, I'm totally off. Completely lost myself with all the comments because it keeps refreshing and then I'll try to find it and that kind of thing. So, um, if I didn't answer something somebody said, that's my apology. The what was the one? It's where um, um, he says, I like I do love thee." Oh, Melissa, how's it going? Right, so I've told you I'm doing a double live so that I can record my TikTok lives and put it on Facebook. Melissa is on Facebook and she said hello. So you don't see Melissa on here, so I'm not just talking into the wall. There is a Melissa, but she's on Facebook or YouTube, I should say. Um, but hey, Melissa, thank you very much. She said, I just found you so amazing and the voices are so interesting. Just love the reading. Yes, I love to hear that. That's amazing. And Swanee says, hello, Melissa. So Swanee from TikTok says hello. And Melissa says hello back. Okay, good deal. Anywho, the yeah, if I'm lying, I'm dying. You check my YouTube, you're gonna see this as soon as it's done. It's gonna pop up there, and there you are. All right. But okay, so the one where I think it's Benedict sort of tells he admits that he loves uh, Beatrice. And Kenneth Branagh is like, I do love thee. Is not that strange? And it's real dramatic and it's great. And I love it. David Tennant goes, I do love thee. It's not that strange. Like, and he's like, it's very funny and it's real, you know, like that. All right. So hmm, I had Midsummer somewhere in paperback and I think I moved it. Dadgummit. All right. Okay, let's see. This is um since I don't have my thing, I just put Puck's final monologue. And I don't have it memorized, so I'm not even sure if this is right, but here we go. If we shadows have offended, think but this, and all is mended, that you have but slumbered here while these visions did appear, and this weak and idle theme no more yielding but a dream. Gentles do not reprehend. If you pardon, we will mend. And as I am an honest Puck, if we have unearned luck now to scape the serpent's tongue, we will make amends ere long, else the Puck a liar call. So good night unto you all. Give me your hands if we be friends, and Robin shall restore amends. Old Puck. That's 13 Fox. Have we talked about this before? Because in a way, yes. 1-4 Cav gave me these skills, which was smile and wave, boys, and don't shoot anybody on your team just because you're mad at them. Trying to switch screens to look up the ones I like, and then it's stop. I know when I'm scrolling on this, I get up a creek. Yeah, Katie did. I really liked Emma Thompson on that. She was amazing. You're welcome, House of Jackal. You're very welcome. That's the way people spoke. Yeah, people were way smarter back then, and they had a way bigger vocabulary, especially when old Billy started making up words and phrases, and they used those too. Have I done Jabberwocky? I have. Let's do it again. It's a fun one. All right, Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll. 'Twas brillig and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome raths outgrabe. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the Jubjub bird, and shun the frumious Bandersnatch. He took a vorpal sword in hand. Long time the manxome foe he sought. So rested he by the Tumtum tree, and stood a while in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, the Jabberwock with eyes of flame came whiffling through the tulgey wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through the vorpal blade went snicker snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. O frabjous day, callooh, callay, he chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome raths outgrabe. Jabberwocky, Lewis Carroll. Yeah, Michael. Yep, the old thing from Puck. JB, what's going on? No, I didn't. I considered going, but I didn't get to make it. What about you? Did you make it? Because I want to go to more stuff like that. You know, I love events like that, and I really want to go to stuff like that. And it would be kind of fun to like of people that like, books and such. Like meet up, have a group of us that meet in the chat. Have a group that meets, for coffee. I don't know. That'd be fun someday. The eloquence of the old bards was phenomenal. Absolutely. Uh, Phil, you want to hear Annabelle Lee? You bet. You bet. Love that one. I just put this one up on my YouTube channel with like music in the background and like ocean ambiance, waves on the rocks, and I like the way it sounds. Like it was really cool how it came out. Sort of sets that melancholy mood. Okay, Annabelle Lee by Edgar Allan Poe. It was many and many a year ago, in a kingdom by the sea, that a maiden there lived, whom you may know by the name of Annabelle Lee. And this maiden she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. I was a child, and she was a child, in this kingdom by the sea, but we loved with love that was more than love, I and my Annabelle Lee, with a love that the winged seraphs of heaven coveted, her and me. And this was the reason that long ago in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud, chilling my beautiful Annabelle Lee, so that her high-born kinsman came and bore her away from me to shut her up in a sepulchre in this kingdom by the sea. The angels, not half so happy in heaven, went envying her and me. Yes, that was the reason, as all men know, in this kingdom by the sea, that the wind came out of the cloud by night, chilling and killing my Annabelle Lee. But our love, it was stronger by far than the love of those who are older than we, of many far wiser than we. And neither the angels in heaven above, nor the demons down under the sea, can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabelle Lee. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabelle Lee. And the stars never rise, but I feel the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabelle Lee. And so all the night tide I lie down by the side of my darling, my life and my bride, in her sepulchre there by the sea, in her tomb by the sounding sea. Annabelle Lee, Edgar Allan Poe. Austin. Yeah, I think a lot of people they're texting LOL and emojis, and they've forgotten how the King's English is supposed to go, so they do miss a lot of the jokes. But a lot of times people that are good at it, they pull them right out. They pull them right out. Let's see. Beautiful. Can you say any more than they? What's that now? I'm not sure what you mean. There's always the rhyme of the ancient mariner. I have done that one. That one it's on my podcast, and I'm about to put it on my YouTube. But I've actually done that one. It's like 30 minutes long. That would be cool. They have it. Is it printed, like framed and stuff? Margie, yeah, it really is. Thank you, nobody. And I haven't posted it yet. It's on my podcast, but not my YouTube yet. Oh, that's cool. About the I hadn't seen holes, so I would have right over my head. Let's see. I need to hear that. That's cool, Phil. I'm really appreciate you saying that. I'm really glad that you liked it. Turn out this little light right here. Melissa, thank you so much. If you have a um, like a poem request, feel free to drop it in. I will definitely uh, see what I can do. But that's great. I'm glad that it is restful to you. Melissa says, Melissa on YouTube says it's restful. It's restful to me too. One of the reasons why I do it. JB, I just finished that too. That was kind of took a turn I didn't expect. Got kind of wild. And if anybody doubts Melissa's existence, so Melissa, I'm on TikTok, so I'm doing TikTok and Facebook. So I'm talking to both, and neither one of you believe the other exists. I don't think. So I don't care because I know the truth. But if you doubt me, I am open for cross examination. Swanee B, you really should. That would be awesome. I would love to see that. Charlotte, how's it going? Are you still in here? I would love to do Invictus. That's a nice, short poem. Okay, here, what I'm about to do, my computer is, no, Austin, it's not. So, I am going to grab it's like a little ice pack because my computer is overheating, fan's coming on, and I think if I do that, it'll quiet down the fan. The voice quality, the sound quality be a little better. So, Charlotte, I will do Invictus as soon as I get back from grabbing my ice pack from my computer, my cooling unit. And Christina Rossetti's Remember. Yes, we can do that. And The Death of Connor MacNessa. Possibly. I don't know. I know the other two. I don't know that one. Depends on how long it is, that kind of thing. All right, 1 second. It's right here. Now you can't see nothing. Be right back. Whoa. Okay. I am back. Now let's see. Put this little pack under here. And there we go. You need an intervention. Okay, where were we? Oh, there was an adventure. I stumbled through my dark workshop because I haven't hooked up a light between me and the thing. Mal, heard you via your Kiloga brand. Good deal. Good deal. Okay. All right, let's see. Where were we? We are, whoops. Katie did. If you're still here, good night. Thanks for swinging by. Invictus. And then Rossetti's Remember. Invictus. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, so if I'm missed your a comment. It's not intentional. I probably didn't see it because I'm being jostled all over the place. Because it's my fault. I'm very fat thumbed, very fat fingered. And Melissa says, "Thank you for defending my honor that I'm real." Take that, Austin. And whoever else thought that. Okay, Invictus by William Ernest Henley. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Invictus, William Ernest Henley. So here's a question that I'm wondering about, and I'm thinking of doing two different playlists, like one with music and one without. But if you're listening to a poem, now I don't mean an audiobook, but an actual poem. If you say, I want to get on the internet and look up Invictus, do you want a soundtrack behind it? Like, I don't mean distracting, but do you want music or do you want it to be super silent, just the voice? What do you think? I am interested in that because that is good information for me as a creator. I usually don't do it um on TikTok with music because I know a lot of people will take the voice and make a sound or whatever and put it to their own thing. So that's why I usually don't do it on TikTok usually. But on YouTube, sometimes I like it. I think it really helps. Like it sets the mood up and stuff. Uh, okay. Remember by Christina Rossetti. Remember me when I am gone away, gone far away into the silent land, when you can no more hold me by the hand, nor I half turn to go, yet turning stay. Remember me when no more day by day you tell me of our fortunes that you planned. Only remember me. You understand it will be late to counsel then or pray. Yet if you should forget me for a while and afterwards remember, do not grieve. For if the darkness and corruption leave a vestige of the thoughts that I once had, better by far you should forget and smile than that you should remember and be sad. Christina Rossetti, remember. Great um, suggestion. Uh, let's see. Mal. I am not very familiar with Khalil Gibran beyond a couple of poems. So when you say The Prophet, is that a collection or is that a certain poem? Christina is very underrated. I've kind of recently begun to get into her stuff. I really like her. Mm, uh, Death of Conor McKessa is a little bit too long, I think, for this, but that looks like a good one for a YouTube or something. Bachelor's thesis on Goblin Market. Just voice. Sometimes it depends on the poem. Okay. Melissa, who you don't all believe in, but she's there. She says um, that she likes just the silence. So, I mean, that makes sense. I'm the same way a lot of the time. And a lot of the time when someone edits something on um, YouTube, it's pirated. It's like Tom Hiddleston. They don't know Tom Hiddleston. Tom Hiddleston didn't come into their house or their studio and do that. They ganked it off of an audiobook or something, and then they put a loud track to it. So I don't obviously like that stuff, but and Melissa says that she really enjoyed Remember. So I think we can all agree there, even if you all can agree that Melissa is a real living, breathing person. It's a book, but shorter chapters that are easy to. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. There's a PDF version on. Okay. Eris Patty. Yes, I have. The Hey Austin, remember that lady last night that I blocked because she was being annoying? Yeah. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I would never block you, Austin. We go back too far. Unless you were being really annoying. But I would block my own mother if she was being annoying. I wouldn't. Okay. I'm just muttering to myself as I go through these comments. Okay, I think I've okay. Okay. John Clare, An Invite to Eternity. Okay, I'm kind of going up to the top. Let's see. Okay. An Invite to Eternity by John Clare. Wilt thou go with me, sweet maid? Say, maiden, wilt thou go with me through the valley depths of shade, of night and dark obscurity, where the path has lost its way, where the sun forgets the day, where there's nor life nor light to see? Sweet maiden, wilt thou go with me? Where stones will turn to flooding streams, where plains will rise like ocean waves, where life will fade like visioned dreams, and mountains darken into caves. Say, maiden, wilt thou go with me through this sad non-identity where parents live and are forgot, and sisters live and know us not? Say, maiden, wilt thou go with me in this strange death of life to be, to live in death and be the same without this life or home or name, at once to be and not to be, that was and is not, yet to see things pass like shadows and the sky above below around us lie? The land of shadows wilt thou trace and look, nor know each other's face, the present mixed with reasons gone, and past and present all as one. Say, maiden, can thy life be led to join the living to the dead? Then trace thy footsteps on with me. We're wed to one eternity. That is John Clare, An Invite to Eternity. That guy had a beautiful mind. And he went to an insane asylum, like I don't know if he was considered insane, but he was treated in a mental institution, and he wrote the one I Am by which is beautiful. And it's just I love his poetry. It's very beautiful. Okay, so I think back to the question of whether you like music or not. Melissa says prefers voice only. Uh, Arispade says piano or something very chill. To me, that I agree with that. Um, and obviously, there's no wrong answer. I, um, I just want, I like to know what people prefer. I trust your judgment. Thank you, Swipey. Charlotte, maybe a little classical. I'm that way. If it's gonna have music, I want it to be very quiet and generally chill. If it's a sort of a laid back poem, I mean, if it's Charge of the Light Brigade, then maybe not. But either way, I do like a classical style um, playing. I love bossa nova jazz, but I think it's based on the poem. I would agree with that. I'm sure there are some where bossa nova would be just absolutely perfect. Definitely with music, it adds to the emotions. I think so. Free app called Pocket Bard that's made of what? D&D? What is that? You could use it for mood sounds. What? I mean, D&D. I think of Dungeons and Dragons when I hear D&D, but I don't think that's it in the context. But and yet I know not what it means. Okay. Self Pity by D.H. Lawrence. I never saw a wild thing sorry for itself. A small bird will drop frozen dead from a bough without ever having felt sorry for itself. That's good. That's good. A summer night. Matthew Arnold. Ah. Oh, still came up. Oh, Melissa loves I Am by John Clare, so we might read it for her. Even though none of y'all believe. Okay, first, A Summer Night. Okay, Melissa, so if there is music to a poem, soft classical, very subtle, right? Because that is exactly when I don't always put music to poems, but if I feel like it would help it, it would set the mood, then I will put a classical style. It might be a modern composer, but it'll be a classical style um, behind it. And if you look at my YouTube videos, you'll see like, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. It's very, classical style. Okay, Summer Night, Matthew Arnold. Whoa, this one's long. Let's do a couple of let's do a couple stanzas. In the deserted, moon-blanched street, how lonely rings the echo of my feet. Those windows which I gaze at, frown, silent and white, unopening down, repellent as the world, but see a break between the housetops, shows the moon. And lost behind her, fading dim into the dewy dark, obscurity down at the far horizon's rim, doth a whole tract of heaven disclose. And to my mind the thought is on a sudden brought of a past night and a far different scene. Headlands stood out into the moonlit deep as clearly as at noon. The springtide's brimming flow heaved dazzlingly between houses with long, wide sweep, girdled the glistening bay. Behind, through the soft air, the blue haze-cradled mountains spread away. The night was far more fair, but the same restless pacings to and fro, and the same vainly throbbing heart was there, and the same bright, calm moon. That's two stanzas of A Summer Night, and there's a lot more. That's beautiful. I have not read that one before. I'll have to record that one. Very nice. Let's see. Having a Coke with You by Franco. Here, let's see how long this one is. I would have to I would have to read. There's so many words in there that I can't pronounce. I'm gonna take a knee on that one. I'm gonna punt on this one. But I will find it and I will prepare. Someone else asked me that for that one once, and I was like, "Ooh." So I'll listen and I'll do it justice, and I'll be ready some other time. Deal? I did a audiobook once, and one of the reviews was, "I didn't mind the narrator that bad, but he mispronounced so many words." This was really early on in my career, but I don't know. I have a tendency to do that. But the thing is, I don't know I'm mispronouncing it sometimes, you know? And then the other half of the time, it's a regional thing. Like, how you're from New Hampshire, so I'm sorry that you don't say it like I do. Because some people will say, like, you know, pr prestigious or prestigious, stuff like that, like little things where somebody would be horrified at, and then another person, that's how they say it. Um, Anywho, I Am by John Clare. For Melissa Austin. Okay. So he wrote this from a mental institution. And I think knowing that makes it that much more beautiful. So he's really suffering with his mental health so much that he's getting medical treatment for it. And while he's getting medical treatment, he writes this banger. I Am by John Clare. I am, yet what I am, none cares or knows. My friends forsake me like a memory lost. I am the self-consumer of my woes. They rise and vanish in oblivious host, like shadows in love's frenzied, stifled throes. And yet I am, and live like vapors tossed into the nothingness of scorn and noise, into the living sea of waking dreams, where there is neither sense of life or joys, but the vast shipwreck of my life's esteems. Even the dearest that I loved the best are strange, nay, rather stranger than the rest. I long for scenes where man hath never trod, a place where woman never smiled or wept, there to abide with my Creator, God, and sleep as I in childhood sweetly slept, untroubling and untroubled where I lie, the grass below, above the vaulted sky. That's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Good deal. You are welcome. You're welcome, Melissa. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Austin. Okay, let's see. I keep losing myself in the comments. My humblest apologies. Austin says, I have agreed Melissa is real. Have you? Well, I'm lower in the chat and I still don't believe it. Okay, too far away to give you those. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what some of these are. It's chit chat, sidebar conversations. I've subscribed to your YouTube now, so sweet, good deal. Yeah, and if you ever, you're on there and you say, hey, because I've been working hard on a lot of content, so I've got a lot, kind of in the bag that I've recorded, and that I will be, posting very soon. But if you find one, you need one, say, hey, what about this one? Let's hear some music. Let's hear some ambiance, because I'm trying to learn some soundscaping as well. So Austin says, I am getting called out here. I wonder why that is. How could that possibly be? Uh, I don't even know what a Nemo slime is, but I'm entertained by the. I don't know what that means. I don't either. Okay, going through the TikTok comments, Melissa. Yeah, it really is sad, Margie. Swanee B, I would love that. That would be great. I would appreciate getting, kind of like some of that because I'm trying to learn it. Learn to do that kind of thing. What an ode to psyche by Keats. Yeah, John Clare, he's showed up twice tonight. You bet, Melissa. Absolutely. Yeah, we've had two really good ones, and it makes me want to go read some more of his stuff too. Margie backs up Austin. I have to take you all's word for it. The Cask of Amontillado. That now that one's pretty long, obviously, but I have that one. You were correct in your assessment. Okay, interesting. Okay. I smarter than I thought, I guess. Chris, I have done the Cask of Amontillado, and I said it instead of in. I think it doesn't really say, but it sounds like it's in Paris or something. So there's a lot of French names. So what I did in my version, I said it in New Orleans, also with French names, also with a lot of weird stuff under the city. And so I don't know, just sort of interesting. So I gave them, for the love of God, mantra somewhere, that kind of thing. And so I gave them Southern accents, and it's set in New Orleans in my head. But you can find that on my podcast. I don't think I've put that one on my YouTube yet, and I need to because I've been adding all my stuff from podcast onto YouTube and vice versa. So kind of some people are on iTunes, and then other people are on Facebook and that kind of thing. Like I listen to podcasts, but if I want to say I want to listen to the Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, I'll go to YouTube. I won't go to a podcast generally if I'm trying to search for a version. Okay, Ode to Psyche. Not Cajun, because that is a very distinctive accent that I don't. Oh, Austin, Melissa says, hello, Austin. Okay. So I know you're a believer by now, but now you really ought to be a believer. She just addressed you directly. Yeah. So Cajun, like I said, is very distinct, and it's not Cajun, but it's Southern. This is a huge festival. There'd be people coming from all over to go to this thing. So, it's not like a Theo Vaughn type of accent, if you know what I'm saying. It's a just general Southern. All right. Ode to Psyche by Keats, John Keats. O goddess, hear these tuneless numbers rung by sweet enforcement and remembrance dear, and pardon that thy secrets should be sung even into thine own soft-conched ear. Surely I dreamt today, or did I see the winged Psyche with awakened eyes? I wandered in a forest thoughtlessly, and on the sudden fainting with surprise saw two fair creatures couched side by side in deepest grass beneath the whispering roof of leaves and trembled blossoms, where there ran a brooklet scarce espied. This one's pretty long too. I'll do one more stanza. Mid hushed, cool rooted flowers, fragrant eyed, blue, silver white, and budded Tyrian. They lay calm breathing on the bedded grass, their arms embraced, and their pinions too. Their lips touched not, but had not bade adieu, as if disjointed by soft-handed slumber, and ready still past kisses to outnumber at tender-eyed dawn of Aurorian love. The winged boy I knew, but who wast thou, O happy, happy dove, his Psyche true? There's Ode to Psyche. Uh, so is that two for Footprints in the Sand? The I'm I'm getting lost on I don't know. Everyone's talking. Everyone's chit chatting in the chats, so I don't even know what's going on. I'm gonna read Footprints in the Sand. Okay. Well. Okay. One night I dreamed a dream. I was walking along the beach with my lord. Across the dark sky flashed scenes from my life. For each scene, I noticed two sets of footprints in the sand, one belonging to me and one to my lord. When the last scene of my life shot before me, I looked back at the footprints in the sand. There was only one set of footprints. I realized that this was at the lowest and saddest times of my life. This always bothered me, and I questioned the Lord about my dilemma. Lord, you told me when I decided to follow you, you would walk and talk with me all the way. But I am aware that during the most troublesome times of my life, there's only one set of footprints. I just don't understand why. When I need you the most, you leave me. He whispered, My precious child, I love you and will never leave you. Never ever. During your trials and testings, when you saw only one set of footprints, it was then that I carried you. Footprints in the Sand. I don't know who wrote that, but I remember seeing that in the bathroom at my best friend's house when I was a kid. Okay. Thank you, Swanee, for the big love. It probably was. I think it was in a lot of grandparents' bathrooms. Simon Armitage, the shot. Let me see. Oh, speaking of Armitages, if you want to hear some great poetry readings, the Richard Armitage is amazing. So, okay. All right. When is Austin and Melissa's wedding? Austin Brown. Okay. They're finally, they are in the YouTube chat. And now faith has been made sight. Huzzah. All right, let me see. I'm trying to find. All right, here's The Shout by Simon Armitage. I meant to say, Richard Armitage has a whole, he's a wonderful narrator. He was in, he was Thor and Oakenshield in the Hobbit trilogy, and he's in North and South and the first Marvel in Captain America. He's, anyway, an amazing actor and in a unbelievable, uh, like, oh, YouTube. It's funny, funny, funny. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Okay, The Shout by Simon Armitage. We went out into the schoolyard together, me and the boy whose name and face I don't remember. We were testing the range of the human voice. He had to shout for all he was worth. I had to raise an arm from across the divide to signal back that the sound had carried. He called from over the park. I lifted an arm. Out of bounds, he yelled from the end of the road, from the foot of the hill, from beyond the lookout post of Fretwell's farm. I lifted an arm. He left town, went on to be 20 years dead with a gunshot hole in the roof of his mouth in Western Australia. Boy with a name and face I don't remember. You can stop shouting now. I can still hear you. Mm. Interesting. That's a powerful poem. Powerful poem. And I think, poems make you, a good poem, I think, makes you feel something, whether it's love or some sort of emotion, or in this case, like, oh man, you know what I mean? Uh, Whatever that one is. Not disgust, but, intense something. That's a good poem. Thank you for that. Who asked for that one? Chris. Thank you for that, Chris. I have not read that one before. Okay. Uh, First responders hear that shout all too out. Man, I bet you're right. Are you a first responder, Chris? Yeah, I haven't heard that one either. Richard Armichage's voice is like a jaguar hiding in a cello. You're exactly right. Nobody, absolutely. Nobody in the TikTok chat is somebody. Nobody is somebody, and I enjoy their company. You are very welcome. I hope you have a wonderful week. He was also the sheriff of Nottingham in a B-rate TV show of Robin Hood. You know who else was a sheriff of Nottingham, who I absolutely love, is Mr. Darcy from Pride and Prejudice. He was the drunken sheriff of Nottingham in Robin Hood with Russell Crowe. What's his name? Matthew McFadden or something like that. He's great. And yes, Richard Armitage is extraordinarily easy on the eyes and the ears. Melissa, you got any? What are you thinking poetry wise? You got anything you want to hear? Everybody's going crazy over there, being silly. But Chris, thank you for your service. That's thank God for people like you. I can't imagine it. It was a while back, but part of it is because you sort of you see, like, as if you don't expect it, I think it maybe has a more of a impact on your mind. When I was in, Iraq and I saw, you know, dead soldier, I kind of expected it. And so it was super sad, but it didn't shock me. You know what I mean? Because I kind of expected that. Well, I was coming back home from work one day, mile and a half from my house, and I saw a wreck, and I helped the lady out, and she was unconscious, barely breathing, and when I grabbed her legs, I could tell that she was hurt bad, and I never woke her up. I gave her CPR until a nurse got there, just coming home from work, and she said, "Hey, let me give you a break," and then she died just right there in a mile from my house, and I that bothered me so bad, and I just cannot thank you enough for people like you, Chris, that deal with that daily. You know what I mean? You're a strong man. Uh, Matthew McFadden can play he really can. He really can. He's amazing. Did you see um Operation Mincemeat? Um that he was amazing in that. He plays like this dorky guy who can't get a date. And then, he kind of is crushing on this girl on his team because it's World War II. And then Colin Firth, who's married, kind of is, he sends his wife away and then he starts flirting with her. And, anyway, it's kind of a love triangle, but they're also working on Operation Mincemeat, which was probably the greatest deception operation in the whole of World War II. And it worked. And he was a big part of that. Yes, you should watch it. It's on Netflix. Operation Mincemeat, I think it is. It's him. He's on the cover, and you won't recognize him because he's got this giant mustache. His character's so good. It's like he's not Mr. Darcy. He's not cool and nothing. He's not cool. He's just amazing. Um, Melissa, no worries. I appreciate you being a good sport. Because that's pretty funny. She walks in beauty. Let's do that one. By Lord Byron. She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her eyes, thus mellowed to that tender light which heaven to gaudy day denies. One shade the more, one ray the less, had half impaired the nameless grace which waves in every raven tress, or softly lightens o'er her face, where thoughts serenely sweet express how pure, how dear their dwelling place. And on that cheek and o'er that brow, so soft, so calm, yet eloquent, the smiles that win, the tints that glow, but tell of days in goodness spent, a mind at peace with all below, a heart whose love is innocent. Beautiful. Your voice was made for Byron and Tennyson. I appreciate that. I love Tennyson is one of my absolute favorites. And then Byron, there's like certain ones that I love, and this one's one of the ones I just absolutely love. And probably my favorite rendition of this one is Damian Lewis. Wolf Hall, Band of Brothers, amazing. Yes, take it easy. Be safe out there. Thank you for what you do. Let's see. Was there another one? Hasna Kasuma poetry. I love the handle there. I'm assuming you're a poetry lover yourself. Really like Tennyson for poetry. I really like Elizabeth Barrett Browning. I kinda like I don't know, Victorian classical poets are kinda my favorite time, I guess. American-wise, I love, Longfellow is one of my favorites. Um, I really like Ella Wheeler Wilcox, and but I mean, I like poetry. I like to be introduced to new poetry that maybe I haven't, heard before or that kinda thing. So, what about you? Who's a favorite or your very favorite whatever? Okay, nothing gold can stay. I think I could handle that. Nothing gold can stay by Robert Frost. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. Her early leaf's a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down today, nothing gold can stay. Robert Frost. Mm, Swanee B, good night. Have a good one. It was fun having you. Uh, Whitman for US. Yep, I really like some of Whitman's stuff. I recently some of you may follow, Chris Tester from England, and, he recently read "Oh, Captain, My Captain," and I put it on YouTube. And I made it, like, I heard it, I edited it up, mastered it, put music to it, put the words up, and so I've listened to it, and I have cried several times, like, I get teary-eyed. Oh, the emotion, and, that's one about the assassination of Abraham Lincoln, and he had a very, um the war was very personal to him because he was a field hospital nurse, so he spent a lot of time helping guys that had just been destroyed by Confederate, bullets and cannonballs and stuff like that, and so it was very personal. The war was personal to him, and, so hearing him write about the death of their leader, Abe Lincoln, oh, it's heartbreaking, and Chris Tester is an amazing British voice actor and actor, and, he did that for me, and it's gorgeous. Okay, let's see. Jake, I'll tag soundscapes and take vid of run. Perfect. I know you've probably gone, but thank you, Swanee B. I hadn't made it down that far. Um, let's see, Austin. What was that you said? You said something, and now it's gone. I'm gonna leave my YouTube account in the stream to boost it. You do what you need to do. I do not play the guitar. I've messed around, but no, I do not. And I probably will mess around again in the future. The last couple of years, I've taken voice, like classical voice lessons, so that's kind of where I've been. I've just kind of finished up with that, uh, and now I'm gonna try to learn some guitar, probably. Um, yeah, Melissa, like that's what I like about doing lives is people always, you know, will mention poems or authors that maybe I've never even heard of. Um, or if I've heard of them, I've never really read them, and so it's great. I like learning new people. Okay, let's see. How I Discovered Poetry by Marilyn Nelson. This is for you, Mal Mal. Um, it was like soul kissing, the way the words filled my mouth as Mrs. Purdy read from her desk. All the other kids zoned an hour ahead to 3:15, but Mrs. Purdy and I wandered lonely as clouds borne by a breeze off Mount Parnassus. She must have seen the darkest eyes in the room brim. The next day she gave me a poem she'd chosen especially for me to read to all except for uh, especially for me to read to all except for me, white class. She smiled when she told me to read it, smiled harder, said, "Oh, yes, I could." She smiled harder and harder until I stood and opened my mouth to banjo-playing darkies, pickaninnies, disses, and dats. When I finished, my classmates stared at the floor. We walked silent to the buses, awed by the power of words. How I Discovered Poetry by Marilyn Nelson. Uh, Byron and Tennyson are my favorites. Whitman Poe, great. I love your taste. I love your taste in poetry. I love that. All those. um, the question keeps. Oh, okay. Yes, I have. I mean, I love old hymns. I do love old hymns. If by Rudyard Kipling. And while somebody, have you ever thought about applying for a grant from the National Endowment for the Arts? No, I haven't. I don't really know. I don't know how to write grants, and I don't really know what I would ask for. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I don't know what service I am rendering beyond just sort of, hey, let's hang out. That's not much of a service. Anybody can do that. Um, Yeah, but I mean, maybe if there were some sort of program. Now, I am supposed to be helping a couple at Mississippi State where I am a professor reached out, and then at a local theater, they're doing a thing with kids and like a lot of inner city kids, and they want me to help with possibly with like teaching acting and voice acting. And so I would love to do that kind of thing. I really like sort of passing along a love of poetry to anybody, but especially kids. I think that's cool. Okay, If by Rudyard Kipling. This one is going much longer tonight than usual, but this has been a lot of fun. This has been a lot of fun. If by Rudyard Kipling. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken and stoop and build 'em up with worn out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings, risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they're gone, and so hold on when there's nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch. If neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And which is more, you'll be a man, my son. If by Rudyard Kipling. Austin, I'm always saying something, man, you can't pay me no mind. Done. I'm just kidding. Always a pleasure. Yeah, it's definitely great advice for everyone. I mean, it's, I want, you know, I don't know. It's just great advice for anyone that's, passing on life advice. Oh, let's see. You asked for one. So I'm writing my grant. How much would you like? Sounds like a good idea. $1 million. And then like dun dun dun, and it zooms in on my face. I'm sure they would give it to me. My favorite poet is whoever Jake decides to. Austin, see, you're like a sweet and sour patch kid. You know what I mean? You'll be sour, and then you'll say something so sweet like that. I don't deserve you. Melissa, thank you very much for the kind words. Ask for $6 million. I have a friend. I'll put a feeler out and send her your way if it sounds like it could work. Well, I mean, again, I don't really know anything about that sort of thing, and I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know anything about all that. First they're sour, then they're sweet. Just like Austin. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Good deal. Let's see. That's one that I need to do. I've got kind of an inspirational playlist and then like a sad playlist of poems. And so I'm trying to, like, if I want to put that on there. I don't have that recorded. I just put up Invictus, but I haven't done if, and I haven't done I recorded it, but I haven't posted Desiderata. Aerospace. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. I enjoy good literature, of course, but I also enjoy meeting people that also love poetry. Oh, sweet. Miss love your Bible readings. Came across this live poetry. Good to have you. Thank you for joining. So yeah, I do lives on, or just kind of started doing it, recording it for Facebook. But I have a TikTok audience and YouTube. So if I'm talking to the wall, that's what's happening. You I think I did finally catch up, and yes, Austin, you were more active and silly in the chat today. You were like a spunky yearling running across the meadow chasing butterflies and whinnying very loud. Okay. I might read Desiderata real quick. It's like a good, um, a good poem. Okay, Desiderata Words for Life by Max Ehrman. Go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even the dull and the ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexations to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain and bitter. For always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself. Especially, do not feign affection, neither be cynical about love. For in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly to the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune, but do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be, and whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace with your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful. Strive to be happy. Max Ehrman, Desiderata Words for Life. Yeah, Austin, you like that? Melissa, love when you read stories in different voices. My favorite. Oh, good. I'm glad you like that. I don't do that as much as I would kind of like, because that's a lot of fun. Usually, I just do poetry on here, but I like doing other voices. One that you, one that has, well, there's a lot of them, but the Three Hermits, Leo Tolstoy. You hear the Russian accent, the Russian guys. Uh, the Celebrated Jumping Frog of Calaveras County. You have several very southern guys in there. Uh, Stephen Crane's The Bride Comes to Yellow Sky. That's another one where it's a western, and I love it's kind of the taming of the old west. Love that story. But anyway, good. I'm glad that you like the short stories because usually, like I said, I do. Hangle, honey, good night. Have a good one. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Making a note. Okay, somebody had something. Kublai Khan. Who wrote that? Was that Rudyard Kipling? Who did that one? Boric acid powder is great to kill bedtime. Nice. Nice. Oh, Coleridge. Samuel Taylor Coleridge, I think. Yeah. Well, Margie, just a little something to keep in mind. You know what I mean? Hopefully you'll never need it. Margie, not going quietly into that good night. Dylan Thomas, perhaps? Okay, if you love poetry, here's what I want you to do at some point, not right now or whatever. If you like poetry and you like this poem, because one of my favorite things is to hear other people read it that are really good. It brings out different emotions. Like, I want to hear Richard Burton read the Rime of the Ancient Mariner, and I have. It's wonderful. I also want to hear Sir Ian McKellen read the Rime of the Ancient Mariner and kind of compare them. They're totally different reads, and both are magnificent. I love that. So, Dylan Thomas, sometime, if you like this poem, go to YouTube and look up, um, Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night. Richard Burton, who's a Welshman, reads it. He read it in the 70s or something, and it's glorious. And then Michael Sheen, another Welshman, reads it, and his might be my favorite. He's amazing. Anywho, here nor there. But if you like, I love that poem. I want to hear different artists do it. Check out Michael Sheen and Richard Burton, because they are amazing. Okay. Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night by Dylan Thomas. Great Old West. Yeah. Bride Comes to Yellow Sky by Stephen Crane. A great Taming of the West story with a lot of great characters. That was a lot of fun to do. Okay. Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night by Dylan Thomas. Bug flew right at my nose. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Though wise men at their end know dark is right, because their words had forked no lightning, they do not go gentle into that good night. Good men, the last wave by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Wild men who caught and sang the sun in flight, and learned too late they grieved it on its way, do not go gentle into that good night. Grave men, near death, who see with blinding sight, blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. And you, my Father, there on the sad height, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray, do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Dylan Thomas. It was a lot of fun in the chat today. Good having you, Austin. You're welcome. Yeah, Michael Sheen, Richard Burton. I see Kubla Khan, Samuel Taylor Coleridge. All right, let's see. Kubla Khan by Samuel Taylor Coleridge, or Vision in a Dream, a fragment. In Xanuda did Kubla Khan a stately pleasure dome decree, where Alf, the sacred river, ran through caverns measureless to man down to a sunless sea. So twice 5 miles of fertile ground with walls and towers were girdled round, and there were gardens bright with sinuous rills, where blossomed many an incense-bearing tree, and here were forests ancient as the hills, enfolding sunny spots of greenery. But oh, that deep romantic chasm which slanted down the green river athwart a Sidarn cover, a savage place, Oh, as holy and enchanted as o'er beneath a waning moon was haunted by women wailing for her demon lover. And from this chasm with ceaseless turmoil seething, as if this earth in fast, thick pants were breathing, a mighty fountain momently was forced, amid whose swift half-intermitted burst huge fragments vaulted like rebounding hail or chaffy grain beneath the thresher's flail. And mid these dancing rocks at once and ever it flung up momentarily the sacred river, 5 miles meandering with amazing motion through wood and dale the sacred river ran, then reached the caverns, measureless to man, and sank in tumult in a lifeless ocean. And mid this tumult Kubla heard from far ancestral voices prophesying war. The shadow of the dome of pleasure floated midway on the waves, where was heard the mingled measure from the fountain and the caves. It was a miracle of rare device, a sunny pleasure dome with caves of ice. A damsel with a dulcimer in a vision once I saw. It was an Abyssinian maid, and on her dulcimer she played, singing of Mount Abora. Could I revive within me her symphony and song, to such a deep delight 'twould win me, that with music loud and long I would build that dome in air, that sunny dome, those caves of ice, and all who heard should see them here, and all who heard should see them there, and all should cry, beware, beware, his flashing eyes, his floating hair, weave a circle round him thrice, and close your eyes with holy dread, for he on honeydew hath fed and drunk the milk of paradise. Kubla Khan, Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Quirky Cat, what's going on? Good to see you. Who's this Austin Brown character? I thought I already blocked him. Joke. Yeah, we've been at it a while. We've had a good time, shared a few laughs. Yeah. So if nobody has any other poetry requests, I'm probably probably about to power down. Actually, have a little editing work to do, but yeah, good deal. So anyway, thank you all very much. I've had a wonderful time this evening. Hope you have too. Thanks for joining. Make sure you follow me on uh, YouTube or podcast or whatever. Feel free to comment requests because I like to know what people want. If you comment a request, I will definitely try to do it over there on post something on YouTube. Anyway, you are very welcome. Thanks for hanging in here for so long, Austin, and being the life of the party. And yeah, thank you all so much. Love you. And we'll see y'all soon. Bye, Margie. All right. So my TikTok is off and I'm about to get off of YouTube too. So thank you very much for listening. If you've listened this long. And yeah, be sure to check out my channel. There's a lot of poetry, a lot of short stories. I'll be working on Moby Dick soon, which is my favorite novel. And it's one of my goals to do the Bible and to do Moby Dick in their entirety. So we'll see. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. And I hope you have a great night.